Weeho.
Weehoo! I am Hummingbird. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Juju's Jungle. The jungle is on the move again, and today I am in one of my favorite jungles. I come here daily for no reason other than to hang out. And I have a very special guest with me. She is a badass businesswoman, an incredible human in general. She made it out the lava. Chante. Hello.
Hello.
Thanks for coming and hanging out with me today.
Thank you for coming and setting up here.
Duh.
Yeah.
I want to start with young Chante. Let's talk about where you were born, where you grew up, all that.
Okay, well, I was born on the Big Island of Hawaii, and I lived there for the first 10 years of my life. And then when I was 10, my mom said we were moving to the mainland, is what we called the U.S., I guess.
Yeah, that's what the Hawaiians call it.
Yeah.
I know some of the lingo.
Yeah, so she told us that we were moving to the mainland, and off we came here, and do you want me to go into some details on what living in Hawaii was like?
Yeah, that was going to be my next question.
Okay, so I had a feeling you were going to ask me this. So I was like, what was it like living in Hawaii, I should say, because if locals hear me say that, they'd get pissed. Lonely.
Okay.
Living in Hawaii was lonely. You know, I grew up with a mom who was sick. When I was 5, she had an aneurysm. So she almost died.
Oh.
So one of the last, I remember specifically being 5 and thinking my mom was like this gorgeous, beautiful angel who had this great voice and who just was beautiful. And then literally the next thing I know is seeing my mom with bandages on her head and
Scary.
2 black eyes, and I would run from her. And later on, I've heard her sing, and it wasn't great. It was just me being 5 and looking up to her.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, it was lonely. So I had a mom who was sick, who also had bipolar. I had a dad who liked to party. You know, he was a transient for most of my life.
Okay.
In Hawaii. And also, you know, in Hawaii, there's a lot of racism, and I'm very Caucasian.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't have a lot of friends growing up, and it was lonely.
In school, were you bullied for being the white kid, or?
Yes and no. It was just kind of like a cold shoulder, you know?
Yeah.
I just never had my group. I remember once, when I went to elementary school, it was called Waikoloa, and the coolest girl in my grade moved in and was my neighbor.
Okay.
And we would hang out all the time outside of school.
Mm.
And I once asked her, I'm like, why don't you ever hang out with me in school? She's like, I'll only be your best friend while no one's around.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's what growing up in Hawaii was like for me.
Yeah.
It also was really great, you know,
Mm-hmm.
I did play outside. I had a safe childhood. You know, I had grandparents that I loved. I played in trees. It was, there are good aspects.
A beautiful place, but a lonely place.
It was beautiful yet lonely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and because, you know, I also had issues with peers. I didn't have a lot of friends. And then I also had issues at home. You know, my dad was in and out of my life. My mom was sick. You know, there'd be weeks where not weeks, but there'd be days where I wouldn't see my mom. And she'd be in her room, and I'd be terrified. And I would run out on the side of my house and peek in and see if I could see her breathing. But,
whoa.
yeah, so but that was her own mental illness.
Yeah.
And she was doing the best she could with what she had. But, you know, I would cook for myself, clean for myself, do my own laundry.
And this is at age
7.
Wow.
So, yeah, so it was lonely.
Were you excited when she said you were moving to mainland, or
No.
you were
I was terrified.
interested?
Yeah, I used to watch America's Most Wanted. And all the bad things would happen on the mainland.
Yeah.
So I was absolutely terrified. No, I didn't want to move here.
That's interesting because I would think if you're lonely, a new experience would be almost exciting.
Well,
But just the unknown was really scary.
yeah, also being like that was all I knew. And I had grandparents who I really loved.
They lived there?
Yeah, they
Oh,
lived in
okay.
Hawaii. And
Okay.
they were, when I was allowed to see them, they were definitely like my safe place. And like I loved it. Like my grandfather was wild and, you know, had a garden, and whenever it rained he would put on his tap shoes and go outside and do the whole dance scene.
That's
And
fun.
yeah, he was eclectic. And then my grandmother was like this amazing baker who was a pianist. And, you know, they raised me while my mom was sick. So, like, I grew up on, like, musicals. And Wheel of Fortune.
I watched so much Wheel of Fortune when I would go to my grandparents' house growing up.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Like, I really appreciate Wheel of Fortune
Yeah.
now. I do.
I was just somewhere recently, actually, in public. I think I was at a bar, and Wheel of Fortune was playing on the TV, and I was so locked in. Like,
Yeah.
nobody else was at that bar. I was no longer social. I was playing Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, that's me, or Jeopardy.
So when you moved to the mainland, you moved to California?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what was that like?
Terrifying. You know, I grew up really poor in Hawaii. Like in Hawaii, there's no like middle class. You're either poor or you're rich.
Yeah.
I was like not super poor, but just like moderate poor.
Okay.
You know, and then I moved here, and there were freeways and so many people and just so many like culture shocks. And my mom was a single parent. She was a teacher, and her first job was in Palos Verdes,
Okay.
which is just like very like high makimak, like
Oh,
very
okay.
high class. Like
Where is
like,
that? I don't even know.
It's like Beverly Hills, but for like
Got it.
the beach.
Oh, so
Yeah.
probably even richer than Beverly Hills, low-key.
Oh, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember like we once got lost and we turned down the street, and this entire street was a mansion. I'd never
Whoa.
seen anything like it.
They had the whole block.
They had a whole block, yeah. Sometimes
That's
after
crazy.
school, I'd be like, "Can we go look at that house again?" Just because it was amazing.
Yeah. So she was a teacher in Hawaii as well?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you guys came here, she got a job. Why a fancy school? Was that like the neighborhood you guys lived in, or she was just kind of applying everywhere?
No, it's just the first job that she got. So we moved to Palos Verdes, and you know I got held back. It was fourth grade because my English was so poor. Because in Hawaii they speak Pidgin,
Yeah.
which is just kind of like broken English.
Mhm.
And like to this day, I still hate English class because adjectives, nouns, pronouns, like it just really stresses me out.
That's so interesting because I don't feel like you ever
Really?
have
'Cause
issues with.
I feel
don't know.
so self-conscious that I don't like speak clearly, and I don't like use correct terms or words.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe just because I'm country as fuck and I don't either, so
Yeah.
I don't even notice it ever.
Hawaii is pretty country too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially the Big Island. I
Oh
feel
yeah.
like.
When Walmart came to town, it was a big.
I remember that actually.
Mhm.
It was like, yeah, a big deal.
Yeah.
So funny. I also don't know if I've ever mentioned sidebar. My parents used to have a coffee farm on the Big Island, and so that was like the one place we vacationed growing up pretty much. So I spent a lot of time on that island as well. When I met Chante, I was like, no way. We were meant to know each other.
Yeah.
Back to conversation. So what you said fourth grade is when you
Yeah.
moved here?
So we moved here. I got held back. It sucked. English was bad. I remember that was the first place my mom got a job. It just so happened to be that my cousins, who were missionaries in Sweden,
Okay.
came to move back to California too, and they just so happened to live like within the same city. Not city, but like
Close enough.
yeah, we're like the normal people, not the rich people.
Okay.
So they moved back from Sweden, and oh my god, so when we first moved here, we moved in with a friend that we knew from Hawaii. Her name was Lustella. We knew her from church.
Okay.
This bitch was nuts. You know, we sent all our things there. We stayed with her. She told us that half of our things never arrived and that they must have gotten lost. And like, I don't know why, but I had like a weird obsession with collecting angels. So I had all these porcelain angels, and they all went missing. And then like, I don't know exactly what happened because I was so young, but something went down. And one day my mom and I came home and she locked us out of her house.
Oh,
so we couldn't get in. And with my little 10-year-old hands, I reached in and unlocked the door, and we went in to get our stuff, and all of my angels were on display that she said never arrived. So
she had been like hiding them somewhere?
Yeah, she was hiding them.
Did she have a mental illness?
No,
addiction?
I don't know. My mom did, so I don't know. I don't know. I was too young.
Yeah,
I was
interesting.
Too young.
Yeah.
So it's possible, but I don't know. So
that's just a weird memory to have without like a full explanation, I guess, of what really happened.
No, well, I just remember being fucking pissed because I had collected those goddamn angels.
You took those angels with you, right?
For years, yes!
Okay, good. I was about to say, you took them angels back.
I was a pissed 10-year-old. I'm like, these are my angels.
I wonder if the angels were you, like, looking for that safety you felt like you didn't have. Like, those angels were, like, guarding you in a way or something.
Who knows? Possibly. I definitely knew I needed it, so.
And so your mom was religious?
Yeah, oh my god, yeah. My grandparents, my grandfather 100% Portuguese, my grandmother 100% Italian, Catholic. I was an altar girl, I had communion, I was there every Sunday, and if I stayed with my grandparents, I was there every day because they went daily.
Oh wow. Whoa.
Yeah, so.
Daily? Oh gosh.
Yeah, they went daily. They were intense.
Yeah. Okay, interesting.
So yeah, so I was an altar girl. Definitely not now.
Me either, which is so interesting. I have a place in my heart for the Catholic Church because I had good experiences with it growing up, but it's not for me.
Yeah, I'm fortunate because there's so many people I know who have such negative experiences. I'm glad I never did.
Yeah.
But I found that the more I've seeked to, expand my higher power, the further and further I've gotten away from church ideas. But I don't have an ill feeling, I don't feel weird towards the Catholics.
Yeah.
But it's just not for me.
Yeah, same. So your dad, you said you and your mom moved here. Did your dad stay in Hawaii?
Oh yeah, okay. So my mom got that job. I always like to compare myself as like an American gypsy.
Okay.
Because I bounced around a lot.
Yeah.
So my mom was at that Palos Verdes job for a year, and then she left, and then we moved to Corona, and then my mom got a job there. That's what happened. Okay. It's just crazy. So my mom got a job in Corona, and I can't remember if my dad was here or not. No, he wasn't. My mom ended up, kind of graphic, my mom ended up having a grand mal seizure when we moved to Corona.
What does that mean? The first word?
A grand mal, it's like a massive seizure.
Okay.
That you could die.
Oh.
So we just moved. I remember we just moved into this townhouse that had stairs, and I was really excited about it. And, she would come and get me in the morning, and one morning I woke up and she wasn't there. And I went into her room, and she had a grand mal seizure, and it was really bad because she also had ulcers. I don't know why I'm talking about this because you asked about my dad, but this is a big point before. Yeah. But she had a massive grand mal seizure, and I just remember seeing her feet sticking out by the bed, like she rolled over, and I was joking. I was like, oh, so I'm not the only one that rolls off the bed. And then I walked over and I saw that her eyes were rolled in the back of her head, and she was convulsing, but it was 10 times more terrifying because she had an ulcer and she had been throwing up blood.
Oh,
so there was
blood everywhere.
Yeah, and I just remember running down the street in my robe calling 911 because I didn't know my fucking address because we just moved there.
Oh, fuck.
And they came, and I probably was in a state of shock, and then I went and I lived with my aunt and uncle, the missionaries. They took me back up to Redondo Beach, and I lived there for 9 months. And then my mom got better, came and got me, and then my dad came.
Okay, so what? Whoa. Whoa.
Just like that.
Yeah. So was your mom in the hospital during those 9 months?
Yeah, so my mom went to like a rehabilitation center because the grand mal seizure was so bad.
Okay.
I don't remember exactly everything that happened, but I know that she was hospitalized for a while. And then I had a great aunt Fran who lived in Hemet, and then she went and lived there to get like on her feet.
Okay.
And that's when I stayed with my aunt, who, like, I just loved it there. You know, I had two cousins and my aunt and my uncle, and it was like probably the first time in my life that I felt taken care of rather than taking care of myself.
Yeah.
And it was so nice.
And what age was this?
12. Oh my God, I remember exactly. It was the day right after 9/11, because I remember I was home. That was the day they took, I was like my first night at my aunt and uncle's, and I woke up and everyone was at school at work, and I wanted to watch cartoons, and all I could see were the Twin Towers.
Oh my gosh, and you're home alone.
Yeah, you know, I don't remember being that phased.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck? Like, I just want to watch some cartoons.
Where are the cartoons?
Yeah. But I remember specifically, like, that was the next day.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Also. And so your cousins were going to school, but you weren't.
Yeah, because I
enrolled?
mean, they just got me like the day before. I ended up going to their school, which was not Catholic, but then we switched over to born again Christian.
What is that?
It's like another level.
Okay.
Of like speaking in tongues and like wild shit. Like they're just high on Jesus Christ.
Got it.
Yeah.
That was the school you were at.
Yeah, and that's like what they believed in, and what their organization of like being a missionary, like that's what they did.
Oh, that was they weren't Catholic, they were the born again Christians.
Exactly.
Okay, got it.
They're the ones that like I imagine Creed would be a part of. Like they're cool Christians, you know?
Creed, that's amazing. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so you enjoyed school then?
I loved it. Like I thrived there.
Okay.
Like, I did. Like I had like lunches packed for me, laundry done. Like it was so nice.
And so when you found out your mom was coming to get you, how did you feel?
I didn't really.
Okay.
I was a few months later, like the school year was ending, and the plan was that once I ended school, I was gonna go live with her again, and I was fine. But you know, like maybe 3 months before school ended, I started going and spending weekends with her.
Okay.
And one weekend I went with her, and then she just never had plans to take me back. So she essentially just like
kind of stole you back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And then this is when I started my goth phase.
Wait, do you have pictures of that?
Oh, I don't think so.
Okay. What made you go into a goth phase? Like, where did you find the goth?
Probably just feeling lonely again.
Yeah.
You know, like I was so happy, and then I felt ripped out of like the first stable environment I ever was in, and I was just so angry and like little. I didn't know how to express myself or what to do with myself, so I think I just started to like get edgy, you know, like Evanescence popped off, and I'm like, I get it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I also got it. I kinda get it.
Yeah.
I loved her.
Yeah.
Was that the name of their band, or that was her name?
I think it was her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Badass.
Right?
Speaking of badasses.
Yeah, she was awesome.
So, moving back with your mom, she was no longer sick, but still mentally sick. How often was she going through mental health issues?
You know, I would say like every day.
Okay.
Like, I don't know what exactly her diagnosis is. She's told me many things, but over the years of kind of just like being removed from it and seeing it, I'm able to see it a little different. I always thought it was bipolar, which she still might have, but I also kind of think she might have been a little schizophrenic, because she had delusions that she would hold
Okay.
on to for long periods of time.
Okay.
You know, and then I know that she just had a lot of like disabilities. I know she has dyslexia, ADHD. I think she told me she was autistic as well. I mean, the woman's a fucking miracle. Like, she went to school, she got a master's degree, she was a single parent, like, she was doing the best she could. She was just sick,
Yeah.
you know?
hmm As a child, it's really hard to understand that. Like,
Yeah.
you say that now because you're older and an
Mhm.
adult and you understand, but being a kid in that situation
Yeah.
was probably very confusing, scary,
Yeah.
all the things. And this is, you're saying, when your dad came back as well?
Yeah, so my dad came back like a year after that whole thing. And like his family was from here, so he had a place to stay, and he would come into my life and then out of it, in and out. But by the time I hit like 12, he was more in it because he
Okay.
got my mom pregnant with my little sister.
Okay.
No, I think he's been here for a while. Anyways,
He was just in and out though.
in and out. Though.
Yeah.
I remember him being more in it around 12 because my mom got pregnant with my little sister, and then she lost her job, and then we were like camping. We were homeless for a summer, and then my grandparents let us move back or let us move in with them because, you know, like pregnant woman, 13-year-old.
Was your dad living with you guys in this
Yeah.
homeless? Oh, so it was
Yeah,
all
well, it's
three of
his
you.
idea because he had
Okay.
been homeless before and
Okay.
he knows how to do it. I mean,
Yeah.
and the man does. Like, I remember being 5 and him taking me to one of his encampments, and they had like a TV. They had, it was clean. Like, they had it,
Yeah.
their shit together. I
Yeah.
mean, if you're gonna be homeless, being homeless in Hawaii is probably like the best way.
Yeah.
You know?
In some ways, except it is super expensive there for anything.
Yeah.
So expensive
Mhm.
if you need anything. Did you realize at the time that you guys were that you were homeless, or was it
Yeah.
you did? Okay.
Yeah. I very distinctly remember trying to sweep the dirt out of my tent, over and over and over again, and it drove me nuts. I'm like, no wonder I have OCD now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Mhm.
And what, you guys moved in with your grandparents?
Mhm.
Okay.
And they lived in the valley.
Okay. This is the same grandparents that were living in Hawaii. Okay, the other.
No, so the ones in Hawaii were my mom's parents. The ones out here were my dad's.
Okay.
Mhm.
So they took you guys all in,
Yeah.
and your mom had
My
your
sister.
sister?
Mhm.
Okay. And then were you enrolling in yet another school, or?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. So I started going to middle school, and my sister was born, and then my dad actually got a job, first job I've ever seen him work in my whole life, and he was able to get an apartment for my mom and him, and they left me at my grandparents for a little bit since they just had a baby. And then I went over there, and it was just kind of back and forth. My grandparents ended up moving up to the Pacific Northwest. My aunt and my uncle bought their house, and then I was finally living with my parents.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. All over the place.
Oh, yeah.
And then how was that once you were actually living in the
This
home?
is like where my drug addiction begins. So, you know, my mom is sick, and like there was a period of time where she would like latch on to someone. It was either me or my dad,
Okay.
or someone, I don't know. And she would just be incredibly cruel and just say things that you wouldn't say to your worst enemy.
Yeah.
But she would say them to me or my dad. And I remember being like 13, and my mom just wouldn't stop being mean. And I remember like it started to affect me internally, and I started to like lose hair, and I started to get these migraines, and I started to get these like nosebleeds. And I remember one night I was just crying, and I just couldn't get my head to feel better. And my dad came in, and he's like, "This is for you. This is for your headache." And I looked down, and it's this little yellow pill, and I took it, and it was like
And you were 13. Was it Xanax?
No, it was Norco.
What's that?
It's a pain reliever.
Okay.
It's like Vicodin, but it's stronger and it doesn't have as much Tylenol.
Okay.
So if you take Vicodin and you get an upset stomach, it's because there's a lot of Tylenol and you just got to push through that because it'll go away.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he gave me this pill and I remember taking it, and it was like everything she said to me no longer was being absorbed. I no longer felt like a piece of shit. It's like any cool thing would just go in one ear and out the other. And I remember very specifically thinking at 13, if I could feel like this for the rest of my life, everything's going to be fine. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And that was just the one pill the first
That
time?
was just the one pill. And
Okay.
I made it my mission to try to get as many pills as I could. But, you know, I didn't take off. I wouldn't say like I was a full-on like alcoholic drug addict at 13. That's just like where I got a taste of it, you know.
Once your dad gave you that pill, you felt great. Did you go to him and ask for more?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
And he was giving them to you?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Because I mean, he also liked the way it made him feel. So, but you know, like my dad was an alcoholic, and I didn't want to be like him, and I really did try not to do drugs. I never saw pills as like a drug or anything because my dad gave it to me, and it felt like a safe thing. Like it was okay. It wasn't like marijuana or anything like that.
Interesting.
So, and like a doctor gave it to him, so how could it be like something bad?
Yeah.
So I just liked the way it made me feel. I didn't really understand much else.
Yeah.
You know, and I went to the rest of middle school and the beginning of high school, and I said no to drugs. I didn't want to do them. I wanted to like, I don't know. I just wanted to not do them.
Yeah.
And home life just continued to get worse. I ended up moving in with my aunt and uncle. I got my first boyfriend. There's a lot of plants.
Oh yeah.
I got my first boyfriend, and I was convinced to try experimenting. So my first drug, like my first hardcore drug I ever did was acid.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is in high school?
I was in 9th grade.
Okay.
I did acid the first 4 hours I spent with him, and it was magical. We went swimming, and we talked to each other, and then he had to go home, and then it was 4 hours trapped in my bathroom, listening to Paranoid by Black Sabbath, because it was the only song that understood me. And
Ooh.
I went to bed watching the Jesus channel, saying, God, if you get me out of this, I'll never do it again. And I woke up and I was fine. And I did it again. So, yeah.
How many days later?
You know, I think it took a minute before I
Okay.
did acid, but then I tried weed. I actually hated weed the first time I did it. Didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Did nothing.
I think the first couple times I smoked, I didn't get high. I don't think I was properly doing it.
Right. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I never did it. Maybe I didn't, because I didn't know how to smoke a cigarette either.
Yeah.
So I probably had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah. So never were into weed though?
No, I was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I
Okay.
was. No,
Okay.
that's a little bit later.
Okay.
No, it progressed, you know, like the worse it got at home, the more I just needed like an escape,
Yeah.
you know. The first time I drank alcohol, I knew I wasn't a normal drinker the first time I did, because I was with my cousin and my friend, and we found this garage of my friend's house, and it was filled with alcohol, like this fridge, and I'm like, okay, we're all gonna drink. And I get these red cups, and I fill them all the way up with tequila, and I'm like, okay, we need chasers, because that's what you do.
Yeah.
You know, so we have a beer as a chaser.
Oh
And
my gosh.
we're all standing in this circle, and we're like, okay, ready, try it. And we each take a sip of the tequila, and then a sip of the alcohol, and we all have the same reaction. We're like, ugh, yuck. We have the shivers, it's gross, it burns. What makes me different is my next thought was take another sip.
Interesting. Okay.
The first drink I ever had, that was
Okay.
it. It was take another, take another, take another. And in my head, it was like, you need to be okay, so make sure to take that sip.
Okay, and that was immediate. Did you recognize that immediately?
No,
Okay.
but like the the obsession was there.
Yeah.
From the first drink. You know, they talk about like crossing invisible lines later or getting there. Like, I crossed that fucking line the first sip I had. Like, I was not normal. I was always a blackout drinker. It's a lot of weird shit. No idea. I think I can count on one, maybe two hands the amount of times I didn't black out.
Wow.
Yeah.
So if you were drinking, you were blacking out every time?
Oh, I'm blacking out and doing some weird shit. Probably running from the cops.
What do you mean weird shit?
Oh, I was just weird. Like, I was fun, but I was weird.
Okay.
Like, I would tackle strangers into bushes. Like, who does that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And so people were calling the cops on you, and then you're running from the cops.
No, people not necessarily. Maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
I would just run because I would be in situations where cops would get called.
Okay.
And I would need to run.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Broke a few shoes.
So you start drinking a lot. Were you still doing the pills, or?
No, so pills slowly started coming. Pills were always kind of there because my dad is a pill addict and he would give me them. It's like such a messy period of my life where it's just like all like the boyfriend, acid, tried weed, didn't like it, broke up with him, and then met my friend Ari, who was my bestie, and she was a massive stoner. So then I became a massive stoner, and it was so fun. We would like take apples, smoke a bunch of weed, eat the apple, pass out. We both dropped out of high school and we started going to continuation school, and we would, you know, during the day do our packet homework, scrounge for money, drive to this liquor store that would sell me cigarettes, share a pack of smokes, scrounge up money for some Molly, and then our like boyfriends would come pick us up. We would go down to Hollywood to this nightclub and dance. And then we would go to the beach, take more Molly, and then we would come home.
Oh my gosh.
Like every night.
Ooh.
It was so fun. It was a lot of fun.
And this is, so you're still in high school technically. You're like 17, 18-ish?
So this is like 16.
Okay.
So I'm doing this around 16 because I just got my license. My home life is just getting worse and worse because my mom decided to call CPS because she thought that maybe it would help my dad get sober. So now CPS is in my life, and you know, like, I'm doing everything. Like, I'm waking my sister up for school, I'm getting her ready for school, I'm taking her to school, I'm picking her up from school. My mom has the rest, like she'll feed it dinner, or not it, but my sister dinner and shower and bed. And then, you know, I'm also taking care of the house, making sure my mom gets to work. Like, it was a lot, and I was just like, fuck this. Like, I want to either die or check out. So I checked out. And I say all the time that, you know, drugs and alcohol saved my life. Because if I didn't have that escape, I probably would have tried to kill myself. So.
At what point did you realize, hey, I might have a problem?
When I tried to stop.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why did you try to stop?
You know, it was fun, and then it was fun with problems, and then it was just problems.
Okay.
So when we started to get to the problems, like, people are kind of calling me out, saying things, or, you know, just myself too. I'm like, you know, I think I need to give, like, the pills a break. Because that's what, like, probably from 17 on, that's when I really started with my pill addiction. I just loved pills. Like, you couldn't smell it, you can pop them, you could hide them, you could smoke them, you could snort them. Like, I loved them.
Yeah.
But it was becoming an issue, and I lived again back at my aunt's house, and I remember I took Xanax and I blacked out, and I almost, like, drove into the garage, I guess. I don't remember, but she was mad.
Okay.
So that was kind of like my problem.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, like, it's the pills that are the problem. I need to chill, and I just need to drink and smoke weed normally.
Okay.
And I found I couldn't. I could stop the pills, but then I would drink a lot.
Okay.
And smoke a lot. I would just be cross-addicting. That's what I would be doing.
Whatever you're doing less of, you're doing more of the other.
Yeah, I remember like the brief period of time that I did stop taking pills, I was drinking and it was bad. Like I remember I stole a handle of some cheap ass whiskey and blacked out, and the next day I woke up in a cave. I still don't know where that cave was. I don't know how I got there. I was with a friend.
I was gonna ask, were you by yourself?
I was with a friend. Hopefully that friend drove. I know he drove me to my home, but I had like cuts and bruises down the side. But I literally like woke up in the mouth of a cave.
Oh my gosh.
It was wild.
Were you scared when you woke up?
No.
Okay. You were just like, whatever, another night.
I was like, where the fuck am I? How'd I get here? But yeah, no, and then I went home and my aunt was there and she was pissed and it was bad and you know, like it was just like that multiple times. But like what it looked like the month before I got sober is I was sent to live with my parents because my aunt and uncle got custody of my sister because CPS did eventually take her.
Wow. Okay.
And you know, they were like, we love you, but your sister needs us more than you right now. And and I fully support it because I was in danger to my sister getting taken out of their home and being put in foster because I was a fucking mess. Yeah. And I was like...
But that doesn't mean that you didn't need help.
They tried.
Okay.
They did.
Okay.
You know, this was their way of having that boundary.
Okay.
And I respected and I understood, and you know, I wanted my little sister to never have to go through what I went through. So I was like, yep, get it, leaving, I'm pissed, bye-bye.
Yeah.
And I went to live with my parents, and I like that month was my own personalized hell. Of waking up every day and just being angry that I didn't die in my sleep because I was tired.
What was your parents' like head state at that point? Because their young kid is taken from them, but you're brought back into their life.
Well, my mom thought that my sister got taken away because I lied to CPS and told them that I reported her or something. I don't remember.
So your mom blamed you?
My mom blames me.
Okay.
My dad was like fucking checked out the whole time. Like he was just drunk or fucked up. So my mom's crazy blaming me and my dad's drunk and I just wanted to die. Like, I was just angry that I was having to continue to live that way. And I had seen my dad go to rehabs and AA, and I'm like, oh, that shit doesn't work because he's still fucked up. Like, I just want to die. Like, I don't want to live like this anymore because I'm tired. I'm tired of, like, lying to people, being manipulative, like, not liking who I see staring back at me in the mirror because I didn't know that person anymore.
Yeah. So, this is like a month leading up to when you become sober.
Yeah.
Was there like a specific event or moment or something that made you really decide, like, I'm going to get sober?
I'm sure there's like quite a few. Like my dad and I went at each other one day and it was like scary, and it was just like a continuous day of waking up lonely, like a sad loneliness that I don't feel like. I'm sure people feel it, but there's this level of like hopelessness that I feel addicts and alcoholics feel when I don't know how to explain it, but there's just like an emptiness. Like I was just like a skinwalker.
Numb? Was it numb or were you still?
It was like past the point. It's like you just feel like a shell of a human and you're just empty on the inside. And I remember I got into this big old fight and I went outside and I was sitting on this rock crying, staring out at the canyon, and like I don't know what I felt, but I felt something wash over me and I was like, okay, like I guess I'm gonna go. So I was like, okay, like I'm gonna go to rehab, and my dad's like, okay. I'm like, I probably like should make sure that they want to keep me, you know, like be a real addict because all I do is pills. So I'm like, I'm gonna get some heroin. And my dad's like, that's a great idea. I'll show you how to snort it. So, like, it sucked. I'm like, dude, like, you should never snort this. Like, you don't feel it. I ended up smoking it. That feels way better. I went to this rehab because...
Sorry, pause for just a second. So you didn't feel like you were a real addict because you only did pills?
I did, but I'm like, will they even take me because I take pills, even though it was, like, in the 20 to 30 range? I'm like, I don't know, like...
You didn't feel like it was serious enough for them to...
I was like, I'm just going to tell them that I'm a heroin addict because I feel like that's, like, intense.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So you first decide you want to go to rehab.
Yeah.
And then decide you need the heroin.
Yeah.
So that they will accept you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so your dad helps you get the...
I got to tell you, like, it really is, like, insanity when you're there because, yeah, I did. Yeah, no, my dad didn't help me get it. I got the heroin. He tried to show me how to snort it. It was stupid. I ended up smoking it. I went to rehab. I got kicked out the second day because this chick who had been there for like months that was on methadone like gave me some sleeping pills because I couldn't sleep, and then I got caught with it, and then I got kicked out with this chick named Mo who was a heroin addict. So then we went and scored some heroin for a few days. And then I went to rehab and I got sober.
Oh, well, that part's exciting.
Yeah, well, mostly. I did relapse, but that was
Okay.
my journey for reals to get sober.
Okay. So they kicked multiple of you girls out
Well,
that first time?
Yeah, I think she was having sex with someone that worked there, or they found drugs on her. It was one or the other. I know maybe both were true.
Okay.
Yeah.
But either way, you both got kicked out pretty
We
much
both
at the
got
same
kicked
time.
out, yeah.
Okay. So then heroin. For how long before you went to rehab again?
Honestly, just like a week, which is
okay.
kind of amazing because like heroin is amazing.
I was just gonna say a weird thing to say, but heroin's really big in my hometown, and the few people I know who have survived it and got sober from it, the way they talk about heroin is like kind of scary because they just
It's
it's
true
such a good
love.
feeling. Yeah.
It's true love.
And
It's
they were-
unconditional love. It's everything in life that you probably imagine heaven to feel and be like. That's probably heroin.
But you were feeling that good. What made you still want to go to rehab?
You know, I was feeling that good, but I was still hopeless.
Okay.
And like I knew that like heroin was bad. I'm like, heroin's bad. Like this is a line I didn't think I was gonna cross. I crossed it. I really want to learn how to just drink and smoke weed normally.
Okay.
Like that's what I want. I'm 20. Like I just want to
Yeah.
not do hard drugs.
Yeah. So you went to rehab.
So I went to rehab.
And how long were you there?
So I did like a outpatient. My insurance wouldn't let me stay 30 days, so I did outpatient. So I did a detox, and I was sweating my detox. Literally, I just sweated out. It smelled like weed. I just sweated weed for like 5 days.
Wow.
Yeah.
But not in there. You were in and out.
No, yeah. So they that was in the hospital detoxing from all the
Okay.
opiates.
Okay.
But all I smelled was weed. And then I left, and then they told me my insurance wouldn't let me stay there, so I was like, cool. So I could go there from like all day, but I had to go home at night. And, you know, I had to go back to my parents' house, so I remember the first night I got there, I stayed the night, and then the second day I went back home to my parents' house. I was like, nope. I'm like, if I want to get sober and actually try this, I can't be here. So I packed up my Jeep, and that Jeep was so sad. It only had gears 2, 4, 5 in reverse, and it was like a soft top, and if I went too fast the top would fly off.
Oh my gosh.
It flew off a few times on the freeway.
And you stuffed all your stuff in that.
I stuffed all my shit in there, and I'm like, I'm just gonna live out of my car because I can't live there.
Yeah.
And you know, my aunt luckily let me stay on her couch. You know, and that's really like when it began, kind of. You know, there was a lot of things I liked, but there was also a lot of like reservations. I was like, I'm fucking 20.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't want my life to be over. You know, I'm like, what am I gonna do for fun? Like, play bingo? What the fuck?
Yeah.
So, like, there were a lot of things that I liked and a lot of things that I was, like, very reluctant to do. And, you know, shocker, I ended up drinking and taking pills. But I am actually really grateful for that experience because I had enough, like, being sober recovery in me to know what it could be like. And I remember very specifically taking the pills on my relapse. And as they slid down my throat, I felt my old self like click back into place. It was really a creepy feeling.
Yeah.
And I distinctively remember like envisioning two pathways, like kind of like light and dark, drugs, no drugs. And I knew right then and there that I was going to go back and try to get sober for real. And that's what I did. And then I've been sober ever since.
And that time again, you were still doing outpatient?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was also doing an anonymous program.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was helping?
Mm-hmm.
Where during this time did you find kind of a support system?
Through my anonymous program.
Okay.
Yeah. I had many awkward women dates. I have one friend in particular who was 19. I was 20. She got sober. And I remember a friend was like, you need to go and make friends your own age, so go ask her out for coffee. And I'm like, okay. I was like, you want to get some coffee? And we went to Crave Cafe down here, and it was hands down the most awkward first date I've ever been on. But, you know, people told me, like, keep doing it.
Yeah.
Keep doing it, because the more you do it, the more comfortable it'll be. And I was just so awkward when I first got sober. It was just, I was learning how to do everything sober for the first time. And it was just so uncomfortable. But you know what? There was a certain point where I'm like, I'm just gonna fucking own it. I'm awkward as hell. It is what it is. And that's what I did.
Did you find a sponsor at
Mm-hmm.
that? And that was somebody that was there as
Mm-hmm.
well? Okay. And then when did you meet your husband?
Okay, so this is kind of a funny story. So I had a year sober, and the rehab that I went to, like he was at the same rehab I went to. He was a patient, and they have something where like people who have a little bit of time go in to rehabs and they share their, you know, like what it was like, what happened, and what it's like today. And I was asked to go, and I'm like, yeah, of course. So I go, and it's literally just me and this guy doing this, they call it panels, and I'm doing this panel. And there's only like 2 fucking patients, and Adrian's one of them. And I'm sharing my story, and this guy in fucking rehab is just smiling at me, and I'm like, what the fuck is he looking at? Like, I was getting pissed. And I remember I saw him a few days later, and I was, doing something, and again, like he's like smiling at me, like looking at me, and I'm like, what the fuck, like he needs to not look at me like that. I was getting so angry. And you know, I remember I went out with my friends, like we went out to dinner, and he showed up, and he was like, oh, they're like, oh yeah, are you still going to, you know, the rehab? And he's like, no man, fuck that place, they kicked me out. Like, I'm gonna do this shit on my own. And I was like, he's not gonna make it. But like the fucking asshole did. And like 3 months later I see him, and like I saw him in a new light, you know, like
Interesting.
when you've been sober for a little bit and you do the things that are suggested, you like have this light come on in your eye and the smile, and I saw that, and I was like, you're really cute now. Like you have a nice smile.
Yeah.
So I told him, well, yeah, he has like no game, like at all. So
Speaking of awkward, he
he's like the ultimate golden retriever.
Yeah,
you know?
that's a great way.
So like all of our friends, like we started hanging out a lot, and we did a lot of fun shit, and we would go to the beach, we go to clubs, we do all sorts of things, and he was always there. And then I kind of like hinted that I liked him, and you know, and then we kind of chatted, and we went on like a date. We went people watching, and you know, he told me up front, he's like, like, I'm in school, I'm sober, I have priorities, I really do like you, but I can't be in a relationship. But if you're down to hook up, like, I'm down to do that, but I want you to know where I'm at. And I was like, okay, like, that's great, like, let me tell you where I'm at. And he's like, cool. And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, if I'm hooking up with you, I'm the only person you're hooking up with, vice versa, because that's gross. I want to get to know you because you're a stranger, and if I'm hooking up with you, I need to know you.
Yeah.
And you can take me out on dates every now and then, and like call me sometimes. And he's like, yeah, okay, cool, that sounds good. And then he called me a few hours later, and he's like, yeah, so I just agreed to be in a relationship with you.
I was gonna say, that's a relationship.
Yeah. I was like, you just told me where you were at, and I was just doing the same. So.
Yeah. And then you guys just started dating. That's so funny. So you said you guys were going to clubs as one of your fun things. Mm-hmm. What was that experience like sober?
It was fun. It was a lot of fun. We would go to clubs. I would say it probably wasn't as fun in the beginning because I was so uncomfortable in my skin, but like the more the more things I did that they suggested, the better I started to feel. Like the more esteemable acts gave me self-esteem. So in the beginning it was probably uncomfortable, but as I started to get to know myself and get comfortable with who I was, it became fun.
Yeah.
We would go out dancing in WeHo, and is it WeHo? Did I just
WeHo?
WeHo.
WeHo! So you and Adrian basically just started dating. Okay.
Yeah, we started dating. I was in cosmetology school, and he was in community college. He had 6 months sober. I had like a year on him. We actually are a few days apart. So
like your sobriety anniversary?
Yeah.
Oh,
so
interesting.
He's February 28th. I'm March 2nd, but a year apart.
Okay. And how many years are you at now?
13.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
How many years were you sober before you became a sponsor?
1.
Oh. Is that normal?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. I didn't know that. I thought you were going to say like 5, 10.
No.
Oh, interesting. And what was that experience like?
Terrifying, but good. I was given so many gifts, and the only way to keep what I found is to give it away. So to be of maximum service to other people in any way I can, and sponsorship is like the ultimate way. And I always like to say, the more inconvenient, the better you'll feel.
That's a really cool way to look at it.
Yeah.
Was there ever times where you were worried that your sponsees would make you relapse?
Mm-mm.
Okay, interesting.
No.
You were just solid in your...
Well, no, at the end of the day, like, I'm helping another person, another alcoholic, which is like the surest way to keep your shit in check.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it also makes you like incredibly grateful for everything that you have and this gift that you've gotten, and you just want to give it, So I mean, I've worked with women who've died, and it's sad, but it's a reminder that like this shit, I live with it every single day, and I gotta be on it,
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So let's transition. Thank you for sharing all of that.
Yeah.
Let's transition a little bit. You said you went to cosmetology school.
Mm-hmm.
When or where did you find your passion for hair?
I grew up super poor, and I always wanted to do stuff to my hair, and I never had money to do it. So I was like, I'm just gonna figure out how to do it myself. So I would dye my hair. I dyed it black, blonde. I put hair extensions in.
Oh, wow.
I would do my friend's hair. I would do my mom's hair. And I just had fun with it.
Where were you learning? Or were you just kind of making it up as you went?
They didn't have YouTube.
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
I would just read the boxes and be like, all right, like, I got this.
Okay, you're just kind of figuring it out.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah, so, I mean, it worked out. I never saw it as, like, a profession because it was fun.
Okay.
I was like, my aunt was like, you should be a hairstylist.
Oh.
And I'm like, that's not a job, that's fun. And then I got sober and I was like, I'm gonna be a hairstylist. It kind of all worked out. I took a test like 6 months before I got sober to see if I could get into the school, and I
Oh.
forgot about it. And I got sober. 6 months later, I got accepted.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That just gave me chills. I feel like that is just
It
like
was like
universal alignment.
exactly like everything was telling me like
You're on the right path,
Exactly.
basically. Yeah, that's so cool.
yeah.
And so you started school and you just loved it immediately.
I love school. No, I was fucking tired. I was so tired. I had to work, so I worked full time. So my schedule was I would get up at 5 in the morning. I would go to work till 2:30, and then from 3 to 9:30 I would be at school.
Oh my gosh.
And then I would go home and try to fall asleep because I need some time to decompress, and I would do that shit all over again 5 days a week.
Where were you working?
I worked in an office. I worked at a collection agency.
Oh gosh.
It was another type of personal hell. I used to, I would have to psych myself up.
Oh.
I couldn't do collections because I was too nice. I did like data entry, which was just so fucking boring.
Yeah.
But I had to make money because
you made it work.
Yeah.
Had to do what you had to do.
I did. Yeah.
So you cosmetology schools, how long?
2
It's different
years.
out here. Okay. And then you went right into a salon?
So right after cosmetology school, I was absolutely terrified to cut hair. And I was like, well, the only way I'm going to get over this fear is if I just jump in. So I went to Supercuts because I was like, if I'm going to fuck up, this is the place.
Supercuts is the
to
place
fuck
to
up.
fuck up.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
And that's where I went.
That's so funny, sorry.
But it is.
No, yeah, that's why it's funny.
I went to.
That's why it's funny.
How many people have had fucked up? Like they're known for it.
You go to Supercuts for a fucked up haircut,
Exactly.
basically. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's funny. And then did you realize you were just good?
No, I realized that I fucking hated Supercuts. I was like, this place is horrible. You have like 30 minutes to do like shitty haircuts, and it kind of zapped all of my creativity.
Okay.
I don't like being told what to do depending on who you are. And I was like, I gotta leave. So I stayed there for 9 months, got over my fear of cutting, and then I went, I got this assistant position.
Okay.
And this woman worked at the salon called Suburbia. She was amazing. She was also batshit crazy. She had that glimmer in her eye, And she got into a big fight with that salon and decided to open her own salon that was literally fucking attached to the old salon. Like this is Ventura, the salon's here. This is a corner.
Okay.
And now this is a side street. Her salon's here.
Oh my god.
It was it was so awkward.
That is.
And then I went and worked for her.
Okay. But she was crazy?
She was real crazy.
Was there any point where you're like, I recognize this and I shouldn't? Or
She was interesting. So I essentially ran her salon and helped her open it, and I was like her right hand. And she never gave me a raise. She never said anything, did anything. But she would say, when it's your turn to be out on the floor, I'm going to be there to help you. And I'm like, I got your back. And she was really great when I was like her assistant.
Okay.
But when I transitioned to being my own, that's when it got weird. She didn't help. Her ideas were like from the 80s. She wanted me to like make flyers and hand them out, and when I was hesitant, she got crazy with me, and so I was like, you know what, you're right, I don't know, I will go make some flyers because maybe you're right. I made so many fucking flyers, man.
No, she was not right. You
No.
knew she wasn't.
No. And she ended up like, normally in salons, like your commission, right? Like you don't have anything, and it costs a lot of money to get started.
Yeah.
She was like, nope, you're gonna start off as a renter. I'm gonna not charge you as much, but each month we'll up it. So starting off, my rent was $600.
Okay.
Which, when you have no clients, is a lot of fucking money.
Yeah.
I have no color. I had to go. I pretty much had to spend like $2,000 just to get my color. Like a mini little color.
Yeah.
So I do that. I'm hustling. I'm doing like social media advertising. She refuses to do Yelp. And she goes on vacation and she's like, hey, like, you're in charge. I'm going to give you the phone. If I have clients, book them on you. And I'm like, sweet, thank you. Like, my credit card's bad. Yeah, I'm like, thank you. So she goes for a week. I actually made money and I was so stoked. And she came back and she like looked at everything and she had me come over to her house with her boyfriend so that they could just talk and see how the week went. So I go and I sit and she's like, yeah, so I was looking at what you made and you made $2,000. That's mostly for my clients. So I want half. And I was like, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah. No, on top of the $600 you're paying.
Yeah. She's like, I want half. And I'm like, no, like, it doesn't work that way. Like, I've already spent that money towards my credit card buying the color.
Yeah.
Like, it's gone. And her boyfriend started screaming, calling me a fucking bitch. And he's like 60 and I'm like 24. And I'm like,
oh my gosh.
What the fuck? They're both screaming. And I'm just sitting there like taking it because like these people are unhinged. And I calmly leave and I get in the car and go home and I go online immediately to find a salon to work for because I can't work here.
Yeah.
And I found one down the street and I just started working with them. You know, my old person, like, it was a weird week leading up to it because I told this new salon I found, I'm like, look, I just paid $600. I want to try to get my clients in and get my money's worth, but I want to, like, I'll be here like 5 days a week or something. And, you know, the next day my old mentor was like, you know, I just don't think you're high-end quality. Like, maybe you should go to Floyd's or back to Supercuts. And I was like, I hate you.
Yeah.
And then she got crazy, ended up, you know, walking me out, telling me that I had to let her know when to get my stuff. And I ended up having to sneak into the salon with my aunt to take all of my things out.
Oh my gosh.
And that was the end of that shit show. And then after that, like, honestly, my salon experiences have been great. Like, I went to Main Fixation, and like, it was just a bunch of young girls who all loved and supported each other. And it was just exactly what I needed, and it was so unlike the traditional like salon, and a lot of the way they ran it is like things that I have incorporated into here, you know, like make your own schedule, like do your thing, you know.
Yeah.
It was just a lot of healthy boundaries.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so at what point did you decide you wanted to open your own salon?
You know, I thought it was gonna happen like way later. I was like, oh yeah, like, I don't know, sometime. But then the pandemic happened and I was at a salon and it just wasn't working out there for me, so I had to leave. And I was forced to kind of go to like a Salon Republic. So I went to Salon Republic, and that shit's so expensive.
That's kind of like a chain too, right?
Yeah, well, it is, but it isn't. It's like your own room. So you're like in a fish box.
Okay. Interesting.
It's like a big department store with cubicled, and it's your room.
Okay.
It is weird.
Yeah.
It's like a 3x5 room that you rent, and you can decorate it however you want.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's fucking weird. I didn't like it, but it was great for COVID because I have OCD. I stressed out.
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that.
I was really able to control everything. I cleaned a lot. I would get weekly COVID tests. I was just so terrified that I was gonna kill someone on accident by having it and not knowing it.
Yeah.
So I was able to just see one client. It worked for me.
Yeah.
You know, and then my friend Jackie, who does lashes, I would get my lashes done across the street, and then I upgraded, moved over there. And then I was like, all right, well, I mean, the next thing to do is open a salon. But I kept having bad experiences with like having, I guess, people, I don't even know if they're bad experiences, maybe just like the not the right fit of like assistants with me.
Okay.
Not that they weren't great, because they were, it just maybe we didn't, you know, they were great. And I'm like, maybe I shouldn't do this. Maybe I should just stick on my own. And then Carl came, and she's just a bad bitch.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm gonna do this. Well, actually, I already put my deposit down, so I was doing it.
I was like, wait, what?
I did have
But
a
also
thought.
over there, that was your own salon as well.
Yeah, but it didn't feel like it because it was just me for so long.
Yeah.
And then Carly came, and
Yeah.
then it was like, oh, now it's starting to feel a little bit more. And I really got to learn with her, deal having another person.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So how many assistants did you go through before Carly?
I had one amazing one. I had two that were just not the right fit for me, and then one that was really not the right fit for me.
Okay.
So I had 4.
Over how long of a span of time?
2 years.
Okay. So you were over in your own salon for 2 years.
Yeah.
A little over 2 years. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
And then you met Carly and you said, let's do this shit?
Yeah. And I was even more excited to do this.
Yeah. The way that you were talking about the salon that you really liked is how I definitely saw you have a relationship with Carly. So I think that's cool for sure. The mentoring, even actually the salon the crazy lady, the first one, it seems like kind of in some ways similar to the way you mentored Carly. It's cool.
Yeah.
I like it. New salon.
Yeah.
By the way, we didn't even really talk about it.
Yeah.
When you started to open your own salon, what were some things that were important to you about the culture you wanted to create? What were your goals, I guess? What kind of stylist were you looking for?
Professionalism first. I was looking for someone who I could trust to be here on their own. They have those skills and they can be professional because, at the end of the day, we are offering services and we need to be service providers and we need to have good customer service, and everything else can fall under that, because if you have that, not every day you're gonna do amazing hair. Sometimes shit happens, but if you have good customer service and you let clients know hey, I see you, I validate this, let's make this right, let's not stress, let's work together, it's gonna be beautiful. Instead of being hostile, telling them they're wrong, no, let's just be okay with being human, and today didn't go well, or hey, this I over promised and it's gonna actually take another session, but your next session, come in and I'm gonna do a conditioner treatment for free. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was looking for people who I could trust to be on their own and do hair, and good customer service, just good people.
Yeah.
I would say. And then second, just unique, different. Everyone that works here, we're all so fucking different from one another, but we all vibe so well.
Yeah. Yes, very eclectic, but all somehow on the same energy plane.
Yeah.
Even though the energy levels are all different.
Yeah.
Super cool.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I hang out here every day.
I know. Where else are you gonna get your coffee from?
So I want to hear your craziest client story. Whether it was just a botched hair you had to fix, or just an insane situation.
There's a lot of botched. During the pandemic, it was the time of mullets, because everyone fucking cut their own hair.
And they all ended up in mullets.
I was loving it because mullets are so fun to cut. I love a mullet.
I love a mullet.
I know you do. I still think you should try it.
I think I'm just gonna wig mullet. I don't think I can commit to cutting my hair.
It is a commitment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I want to live the mullet life.
I feel one day you should at least try it.
Maybe.
No, life's too short not to give yourself a mullet.
Yeah, but then I gotta wait for it to grow back. So crazy stories. Mullets, that's it?
Mullets. So this didn't happen to me, but I was in the salon. I was working with this girl, and the salon, they seemed like they were vibing. Her client was a little wild and laughing loud, and then all of a sudden you hear, you ruined my fucking hair. And she got up and she's like, how could you fucking do this to me? You know I have an event. And she's like screaming. And then she leaves. And then the stylist is just like, wait, come back. And literally, like, she didn't ruin her hair.
That was going to be my next question.
This girl just wanted a little bit of pink. So she had, like, very light pink pops. I felt so bad. Because, you know, like hairstyle, we take this shit personally.
Of course. It's your art form at the end of the day.
It's our art form. It's, like, our energy. Like, it's a lot being a hairstylist. And when you don't like it, I am personally offended. And I'm going to think about it for probably... I don't know, my whole life.
Also, though, like, if you're upset with your haircut, you can't just run out. Like, you gotta give the stylist a chance to fix it.
No, I think this woman was just unhinged. I did too. Like, once I was doing this chick's hair, I really liked her. She was just a little wackadoodle, but I love those clients are a little wild. But I'm doing her hair, and it's early in the morning, and she's pretty hungover. And all of a sudden, like, I'm wearing a dress, and I just feel a bare arm grab onto my thigh. And she looks at me, and she's like, in a past life, you were a sailor. I was like, no, I fucking wasn't, man. I was not a sailor.
No, I was a porcelain angel, okay?
I'm pretty sure I was a royal.
A what?
I was royal.
Royal?
But not a king or a queen. I think I was, like, a lady in waiting.
Why do you think that?
Because I have this weird obsession with, like, 1400, like, English history.
Okay.
English in particular.
Interesting.
And I have a weird obsession with the Holocaust, so there might be maybe a past life there. Like, when I was 10, I became obsessed with the Holocaust.
Interesting.
Yeah. I've been there. I've been to Birkenau and Auschwitz.
Really?
Yeah.
What was that like, actually?
Honestly, it was uncomfortable.
Okay.
Because Birkenau, it's like, you get there and all around you, it's nature and beautiful. And it was a sunny day, and this, like, sense of peace washed over me. And, like, I'm like, why? Like, it's a weird feeling to have while here. But I'm like, it also kind of makes sense that, like, maybe, like, so many people died that there's peace now. But I do remember walking into, like, a barracks, and it was drastically cold, and you could just feel, like, the heaviness.
So outside, you felt a calmness.
Once
you entered,
it was like suffocating. It was trippy.
Maybe you escaped Auschwitz
Who
as
knows?
a child or in your past life.
I don't know, but I have a weird fascination with that and English history.
Okay.
I'm like,
were you the one that showed us I think Carly showed me it, the way you can, like, see what life you're on, how many lives?
No, Carly showed me that.
Where did we see? Who showed her that? What life are you on? Do you remember?
No, I have no idea.
Me either. I can't remember at all. Huh.
No, I don't know.
Past lives are an interesting thing. I think I was an animal for sure because I think that I speak to animals.
That'd be cool. I could see that. What kind of animal?
I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, not like a predator for sure.
No, you're like a bunny or something.
Yeah. But also, I don't think I was necessarily prey. I think I was, like, somewhere kind of,
I could see you as, like, a happy dog.
Yeah, I kind of feel like I was maybe a house pet of sorts. Even maybe like a bird. I don't know. I will say it was really cool to watch the salon come together. And it was when I kind of realized, like, this chick is my chick because you DIY'd every single thing that you could, and you filled it with plants, and it's just so unique and one of a kind. And it's also been cool now that you're open to be here and watch clients come in for the first time and be like, this is insane, this is amazing, and it's so unique, and I've never seen a salon like this. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that Carly came into my life because she brought you.
Yeah.
And it's been so fun doing DIYers because you guys are my kind of gals too, where you get dirty and you do shit and you try to build a closet and it doesn't work, but then you fix that shit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, I love that.
Yeah.
Because not a lot of people, like, do that shit. Go on YouTube. And I love that you guys do. And I love that, like, you do feel part of the team. And I'm glad that you're here and that you helped.
I feel lucky that you let me feel a part of the team, because I'm just a best friend of somebody who's here, you know?
You're the official salon photographer.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, no.
It was cool when Carly started working for you, because not that this is about, Carly's life is not about me at all. Mm-hmm. However, when she moved to LA, I felt pressure to make sure she loved LA, because it took me so long to convince her to move here. And the salon she was working at, she didn't love, and I was picking her up from work every day, and I could just feel her energy. She was miserable. She hated it, even the part, like she liked some parts, you know, but I could just feel. And in the morning, she like wasn't excited to go there. And when she finally decided to look somewhere else and found you, it was just immediate, like you guys were meant to find each other.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Yeah. No, it's like, what's your sign? She's like, Gemini. I'm like, you're hired.
And it's been cool watching everybody else come to. Sheila, Ruben, everybody, like you said, is so different, but so freaking amazing.
Yeah. No. Well,
so amazing.
We all, I don't know, like my dream for a salon was a professional place where we do some bomb ass hair, but we also like, we are at work so fucking long. You know, we're here 8 to 10 to 12 hours a day, and I just want like, I want a safe space. You know, I want when people to walk in, whether you're getting your hair done or you're a stylist, to feel safe and you're at home in a way, and that if you need to talk, like you can talk judgment free, and that, you know, there's no judgment, and that we all support each other and we love each other. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I never wanted to be like a boss of anyone. Like I'd rather be like a mentor.
Yeah. I feel like that is kind of the approach you take.
Yeah. Well,
for
you
sure.
know, that's what I want. Like there are obviously rules for everyone in life, and
of course,
every now and then I do have to enforce those rules, but I've told everyone that starts here, I'm like, look, I don't want to be your boss. You're a grown-ass person. If you need help, I'm here to help you. Mm-hmm. But you set your own schedule. You set the tone for your day. Like, do you stay in your lane, be a good person?
Yeah.
I'm like, if you have issues with another person and I am forced to come, I will. Yeah. I will get involved, but neither one of you will probably like how I handle it, because I'm going to show both of you what your part is. Because there's always two sides.
Yeah.
So that will be my job.
Yeah.
And then helping find a solution forward.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but let's all lift each other up. Let's all just try to make money and do cool shit, because life's short, and like, let's have fun.
Yeah.
You know?
And I'm sure that's empowering for the stylist too, to feel like they're in control of their own career, kind of. Mm-hmm. You are there and you are the boss, but giving them that freedom to make it on their own, kind of, for lack of a better word.
I mean, you kind of have to, right?
Yeah.
Like, you just want to get to like a safe place where you can open your wings and fly.
Yeah.
Right? So that was just my goal. Like, I want some cool ass people to work with who respect each other, love what they do, and know how to treat clients.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I want all of it. I want the trifecta.
Mm-hmm. I feel like you have it.
Yeah,
honestly.
I do too.
From the outside looking in. Yeah.
Yeah, it feels good. Like, I get excited to come to work. You know, I got
That's
Ruben,
yeah.
Sheila, Vonna now, Carl, you, my sister.
Yeah. The dogs half the time.
The dogs, the official salon greeters.
Yes.
Wait, what kind of bread are you again? A focaccia.
Yeah, of course, focaccia. I'm like, wait, what was I?
Oh,
That's a question for the people. We're going to make this a clip. What kind of bread are you? Chante will say there's a wrong answer, so don't answer incorrectly.
There is.
Oh, that's a funny, that's like your one question you ask everybody who applies here, right?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah, I'm sorry. The answer with wheat bread. Like, get the fuck out.
You're white bread? Why did you even come in here?
No. There's the door. Sorry.
Oh, that's so funny. I feel like at the end of this video, I'm going to put a little tour of the salon so you can really understand how sick it is, because the bathroom
Oh,
Like,
the bathroom. That was Carly's idea.
I love the bathroom.
Yeah, we all got. You were there that day too, right? Yeah.
What?
Painted.
For which one? No, I didn't paint.
You didn't paint it?
Oh, I guess I was there. I didn't help.
You were there. You were with us.
You
like,
let me do
all
a
night.
stroke.
Yeah, I was like, everyone has to do at least
Yeah.
one stroke.
Yeah. Any last messages? For people who are struggling with addiction, what is like one word of advice you could give? I know that's tough because it's such a dynamic thing, but
The first thing that popped into my head was don't give up before the miracle.
I like that. Don't
So-
give up before the miracle.
That's it.
And then maybe one thing for people who are sober, how to keep them sober. If they're having a tough day, maybe.
I don't know, everything fucking passes, you know?
Yeah, that's a great one too.
If you're having a good day, enjoy it because it's going to pass. You're having a shitty day, it's going to pass. Everything
Yeah.
in life passes. So just try to stay in the moment.
I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sitting down with me
Yeah.
and sharing. You shared so much, and I hope that there's people out there that see it and resonate with it. I know there will be, because so many people go through what you've gone through in different ways. But thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.